You guys are lucky I found my light bulb because it's kind of dark out getting there, and I don't want to have to whip out the candles to simulate a sensuous dinner just to get my point across, which is pertinent to something a little bit serious, but hey, I'm in a serious mood. Even though I could, kind of shuck and jive and be like, hey, David Suzuki broke my light bulb while I was having the red light special, to mitigate the effect of the blue walls that were kind of making me feel a little bit serene in the wrong type of way, if you know what I'm getting at. Anyway, point is, you know, I think getting to know somebody in regards to their flaws and imperfections is kind of like what I like to call a reverse typical before and after montage slash video slash image slash whatever it is. So yeah, reverse typical before and after. RTBA for short. Acronyms, yeah. And I mean it in this way. It's like usually in a juxtaposition and contrast of before and after, you have the before looking not quite as good as the after. But in this context, you see somebody kind of looking better, and then you see their flaws, which is kind of a segue to the after part of this comparison. And then you're like, they're not quite as perfect as I thought they were, which can be kind of like borderline titillating when you think about it, because, what's even sexier than being completely brave and strong is being flawed and a little afraid and being so good at achieving your triumphs that you can't even tell. I think that's what's really inspirational. So, in terms of the reverse before and after, that's how it all ties up. But then you get to the point where, like, I think if it's really beneficial, you find somebody to really confide in, and somebody who can really, dance with you in that steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron sort of trajectory. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And then your after looks even better than the before, with an alternative after in the middle, so it's like two afters and one before. Isn't that beautiful? And the one in the middle isn't even necessarily the present. You could be anywhere on this spectrum. So yeah, that's part one of my rants. Part two is about debating. I think debating is a very carnal, basic kind of drive to drive someone crazy with. Because when you think about it, I don't think you can really debate without being a jerk. Let's face it. I mean, you can not come across as a jerk, but we know you're a jerk if you're going to be debating real hard and trying to be like, oh, well, I totally respect your opinion, but it's like, yeah, right, you do. I feel like I'm like I feel like I'm a little Christian boy coming out of the closet as a Christian in a family of like LGBTQ social justice warriors. Oh, that's right, causing some upheaval right there. Yeah. Nah, I'm just getting a little jumpy. I got somewhere to be, but I have a cold date. Yeah, it's not so cozy out. Back to my point. So, in terms of being a debater, I think it's hard to do without being egotistical. And I don't know. Let's just say I know a priest, and he told me, not a priest. Don't get it twisted. I know a guy who's pretty humble, and he's like a priest without all that implies. and he's, you know, he would say debating is very, I don't know, it's a very earthly thing. It's not really from above. I think to have a discussion is another thing, and um, I think that not all discussions need to have a conclusion either. It's like, which kind of puts me in this like little crazy straw drinking from the beginning of this video where I was talking about what I was talking about, because I mean, I'm thinking about someone I know who's very close to me, and they're always like sounding like a, you know, New York Times bestseller self-help book author who's certainly got their own issues, and you know, I get in debates with them all the time, but I'm not trying to debate. I try to like de-escalate everything and just keep it like a light discussion. Be like, you know, that's what I think. You don't need to conclude it. You don't need to come with a right or wrong. We're just brainstorming. Norman. Okay, now I'm just getting a little crazy here. Little tangential. So, I'm gonna simmer down. Prepare myself for this journey to see my friend who's going far, far away. Sweetest thing ever. My friend is going to Bahamas, and she's like, you know, like I asked her what she was up to, and she texted me back, and she's like, I just put you in my suitcase, and because I gave her a Polaroid of me for Christmas, and I'm gonna have to tell her not to let me blow away in the Bahamas. So yeah, bye guys. Thanks for listening.